MMA Meltdown on the Fight Network continues, and I don't know if we're going to be able to top, pardon the pun, that last segment. But one last thing about Ray Elby. Frank, anytime you're in the arena and there's that low blow, there's the collective gasp. It's like when there's the big punch after the replay. People see it in slow motion, and there's that always collective, oh! Ray Elby better get like an industrial jock strap. He better get like the custom jock that Joe Rogan always talks about.
He needs to be looking for a sponsorship from Shock Doctor, from Jocko. He's got those, cup involved in the shorts. He needs to get a super endorsement for one of those guys that, look, even Ray Elby can take it. And just standing in
it's the perfect fit.
Is him getting kicked 14 times in a row.
Think of the ad. Hi, I'm Ray Elby. I once broke my penis, but I fight in the UFC with complete confidence due to my Jocko jockstrap.
There it is. See, there it is. Jocko, sponsor us because we just gave you the idea.
Damn right. All right, let's get to the fights. Leonard Garcia and Max Holloway. Preliminary on Facebook. Well, we know that Garcia is always going to give us an honest effort. He's going to lay everything out that he has in the octagon, but at the same point in time, he's been in a lot of wars, not as quick as he used to be. Nope. And very one-dimensional.
His defense hasn't improved at all.
No, he hasn't gotten. Let's call it off what it is. He is what he is. Yeah. He hasn't gotten better. He is the epitome of the MMA brawler.
Yes, yeah. And Max Holloway, I trained with him when I was in Hawaii, traveling the islands. I got to train with Chris Lieben and some other guys. I was actually touring around, hanging out with TJ Thompson a little bit, and some of my other friends, and really trying to figure out kind of where my training was in comparison to what the other guys were doing. And I got to train Max Holloway over at Gracie Tektronix, and let's be honest. This kid is tall, very tall, 5'11", I believe, for his weight class. Tall for my weight class. Tall for anybody's weight class, but super tall for his weight class. Very long, very lean, very smart, very, very good on the ground, top or bottom. Most ground guys, you think of being good with their back on the ground. He's good top and bottom and has a very long, rangy boxing style. This is a guy that knows how to throw a lot of punches, a lot of kicks, but uses them when he wants to stay on his feet, will use his length. When he wants to get a guy down, we'll use him close and inside for dirty boxing to get the position to put on the ground. I honestly think that Max Holloway is going to beat up Leonard Garcia in this, and it's unfortunate because I like Leonard Garcia. I like Max Holloway as well. I like both these guys. But I like Leonard Garcia for the fact that he has used the best attribute he has, his inside style of brawling, just to close his eyes, squint, bite down his mouthpiece, and throw to try to knock a guy out to his advantage, and won a lot of fights and got a lot of fans because of it. Just in this fight, I don't think it's going to work for him.
But if you know that's what, if you're Max, you know that's all that he has, right? So you fight a patient fight, you make him come to you, take him out of his. Don't walk in to the dark, right? It's like a horror movie. I'm going to go look for Jason in the woods. Don't go look for him. No. You know what I mean? Make him come to you.
Yeah, smart. Use angle, step away from him. When he starts getting frustrated, he'll start lunging. Tap him with a couple side shots if you want to take it to the ground. As he lunges at you, drop your level, take him down, turn the corner, get on top of him, beat him up a little bit. If he decides all of a sudden you hit him hard enough, Leonard Garcia will try to put you on the ground if you hit him hard enough. So if you hit him one time clean and snapping, and it makes him sting the back of his legs a little bit, he's like, oh gosh, they could have put me out, he'll shoot and take you down. That's okay for Max. No problem. All right, bring a leg over, turn the corner, all of a sudden armbar triangle, we're done.
I agree. I like we're in agreement here. Max Holloway is the player. Let's get to Chris Carousel and John Moraga. John Moraga is... this kid's a killer, all right? This guy, nobody knows about this guy. In fact, it was on Sports Rage, if you guys remember, the night before his first fight, I told you guys. I said, John Moraga is not even John Moraga. It's got a new name, new persona, and basically, we'll call it out for what it is. This kid is straight out of the hood. If you go on his Twitter every day, I miss my friend that got shot this day. Yeah. This guy's cut from the Diaz cloth, except more street.
Yeah.
More street. Like John Moraga is a badass from Arizona. I got some inside information about this kid that, he was pushing Gray Maynard to the brink in Arizona. Like he wasn't scared to get in with Bader and stuff. Like the kid's from the street. He's tough as hell. Going against Carousel. No one really knows who Moraga is. Moraga's going to win this fight.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's not only that tough kid, but he also learns very, very quickly. I got the report actually from Gray Maynard. This kid's like, wow, this kid, I had to really grunt down and really think about what I was going to do to this guy. I had to use old man tricks, experience tricks on this guy. Set him up 4 or 5 moves early to catch him later, to beat him up and let him know who his boss is. Like he had to outthink him. This kid thinks on his feet, thinks in the middle of getting hit, thinks in the middle of getting submitted, thinks in the middle of the roll of grappling. He progresses throughout the fight. This guy, he's legitimate. and it's unfortunate most guys don't know this, but if you get a chance to bet on this guy, bet on him. Because he legitimately is going to be one of the next. I'm not saying he's going to be a champ. What I'm saying is he's going to be one of those guys that's going to be a star very, very long before he ever gets in the title hunt.
He's going to be one of these guys that nobody is going to want to fight.
Yeah,
That's what he's going to become.
Yeah.
He's going to become that guy. Oh, man, and he's hungry, too. He's hungry. I like him as well. All right, the return of Todd Duffy. I find it amusing. Duffy comes back, but you're on Facebook, Todd.
Yeah.
You're not. We're not just putting you on television. Duffy's back against DeFries. DeFries, heavy hands, likes the ground and pound. Good submission game for a heavyweight.
Yep.
Not a great fighter. I mean, he's the 15 to 20 type of category-ish.
Yeah, in that space.
Maybe 13, whatever.
Yeah, in that space.
So the question is, what is Todd Duffy? What do we know about Todd Duffy?
Here's the deal with Todd Duffy.
Remember, he lost to Russo,
right?
But he was dominating Russo.
Yeah, got caught.
And Russo doesn't get dominated, really. Russo's a big, tough dude, man. Duffy was dominating, got caught. Duffy fought, after on short notice against Alistair Overeem.
Yep.
And got, it was a quick fight.
Got meleeed.
Yeah, got meleeed there, and then comes back with just one win. So he's only had one fight. It's not like he's rattled off a bunch of wins. He beats Neil Grove. Who is Todd Duffy?
The problem with Todd Duffy is that he got released from the UFC because of his mouth, not because of his win-loss record. And that's the problem. So
he badmouthed the UFC at a UFC engagement to the wives of the UFC.
Yeah.
Basically at a UFC party having drinks. For Lorenzo's an idiot. Screw Dana.
But talking to Dana's wife and Lorenzo's wife, I'm not saying that's the wives he was talking to.
Yeah, but that's the example.
That's the example. You can't. UFC function. Come on, it's the hand that feeds you. You got to. I had to learn my lesson the hard way too. That's the reality of it. If you don't work well with the UFC, they're gonna get rid of you. I didn't work well when I was with them. They'd let me go. That's how it is. They will bring you back in and try you back out again and see if you've learned your lesson. But now, because of the expansion of the sport, they're going to put you on Facebook. Todd Duffy is for the women demographic, which the UFC is desperately trying to get to follow, with Ronda Rousey now being a main event, trying to bring women's MMA. Todd Duffy for women is very easy for them to look at. He's a tall, good-looking guy. He's very, very simple for sponsors to try to get behind him. It's very easy. He talks very well. He looks very good on camera, looks great in print ads. The question is, can he fight the way he needs to fight to make it the heavyweight division? The heavyweight division of UFC is lacking talent. That is the total package.
Yeah.
Cain Velasquez and JDS, that's a great fight. These guys are the most amazing fighters.
Other than those two and Overeem, nobody cares.
Yeah. Roy Nelson just beat Mamachon. No one cares. No one cares. So what's happening is you got to get guys that fans are not only going to want to watch fight, but want to watch win. They're hoping Todd Duffy will be one of those guys if he gets a win over DeFries here.
It comes down to me is, all right, so what about Duffy's chin?
Suspect.
What about Duffy's takedown defense and ground game?
Suspect.
Which, these are all three things that DeFries is going to bring at him. Heavy hand, slugging.
Yeah.
And if DeFries doesn't like what he's getting back, DeFries got a great sub game for a heavyweight.
Yeah.
And he knows, all right, I'm going to take this big guy down. I'm going to take this big athlete down. So to me, it comes down, can Duffy handle a punch? And is he more than just a big guy that looks good, that throws the right bomb?
He is training over at AKA right now. So that is helping him quite a bit because he's getting ready with Cain. I mean, that's what's happening.
That's as good as
he
gets.
So he's learning how to stop the takedown from a guy that will take everybody down in the weight class. He's learning how to take heavy hands from a guy that is going to hit you hard. Not only that, but then also he has Daniel Cormier in the camp. He's got all these guys that are the same size or bigger, just as athletic or more athletic, and can hit harder and can take them down better.
Have you heard anything how Duffy's handling himself with these guys?
At the beginning of camp, he was not doing very well at all. But now, as we're getting closer to the end, he's doing very well. But also, too, part of that is, if I'm with you every day, I learn about you every day.
Yeah, you start to pick
up stuff from that individual.
You start to mimic little things that Cain does. You mimic little things that Cormier does.
Will that transfer into the actual match? We have to wait and see. Right now, as we're taping this show, I'm picking DeFries for the victory, but I think Duffy's a lot closer than he was if you asked me 3 weeks ago.
Does he get cut? Probably not, because they need.
No, they need him. They need to bring him in.
So if he lost again, then he'd probably get cut.
If he loses, and in the post-fight interviews says how good the UFC is, how good they treat him, how happy I'm being back, he will stay. If he loses and runs his mouth, he's out. That's the reality of it.
And it's tough because we're taping this a little bit earlier than we normally do, guys, due to the holiday season. It's tough, and I can't trust Todd Duffy here.
No.
I can't. I really look forward to seeing what he brings to the table, but I can't trust him to put money down on it. All right, let's get to Miles Jury, one of these Ultimate Fighter guys against an older Ultimate Fighter guy, Michael Johnson, who, Michael Johnson really wasn't all that good in the house.
No, he really wasn't.
He was a good athlete, good competitor, tough guy, sort of willed himself. Another one of the crop in the last 5 years of Ultimate Fighters of whatever's type of stuff.
Yeah, why are you here? Yeah.
But I think he's looked pretty damn good the last year or so, Frank. I think this kid's gotten better, man.
Interesting. After the fight, after the reality show, he went down to Jackson's. And then he moved over to Black Zillions and switched camps.
Yeah, like he talked a lot on the show, ran his mouth, but then he just shut up for a couple of years.
Yeah. And when he moved over to Black Zillions, he got better. And so I think he kind of found a home. Not saying that Jackson's wasn't the spot. Let's be realistic. Jackson's is a nice spot. It's a great spot for a lot of athletes. Just didn't fit for him. You got to find a camp that fits for you. Michael Johnson, he is accelerating at Black Zillions.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is, I'm not talking anymore. I'm not going to talk the talk. I'm just going to walk the walk. And he's actually making sense of it. And it's a lot better now. Let's not forget, for him to get on the show, he was denied 3 or 4 different shows.
Yeah,
he just kept showing up and said, every time you move, I'm going to keep coming. You deny me this one, I'm coming back again. I swear to you, they seriously got tired of seeing him every single time and him making the final cut and them going, we got to cut you with the final cut before we start taping the show. They're going, look, this guy's not going to go away. Let's put him on the show just to make him stop showing up. It's driving us nuts. He got on the show, didn't do very well, but now kind of coming into his own, kind of got a little bit smarter about it. I like Michael Johnson in this fight.
I like Michael Johnson as well. All right, we'll pick up the pace because we've got a lot of fights to get to. We already talked about this fight, for a couple of weeks in Melvin Gillard and Jamie Varner.
Yeah.
Again,
yeah.
And the best is the line keeps moving, Frank.
Yeah.
Like people have changed their mind every day.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, I have Melvin. Oh, you know what? Maybe Varner's going to win. Now Varner's the favorite. So Varner's settled in as the solid favorite here.
Yeah, and it should be. It's all going to be about holding him down, keeping him down, putting him down, and what's going to happen with the speed and the distance and all that. I mean, that's what happens.
I don't know why Byron Bloodworth and Eric Perez got the spot that they did. I know that Duffy ran his mouth. I mean, hell, why not put Holloway and Garcia on TV?
I'd rather see Holloway and Garcia.
As opposed to Bloodworth, who has a good MMA name, against Perez. Perez, pretty good fighter. Bloodworth, one fight in the UFC, he lost.
Yeah, he's 0-1 in the UFC. Perez is 3-0 in the UFC, but he's a late replacement. And so it was
Court McGee.
Court McGee got hurt and had to pull out, so they brought in Bloodworth. Really, Perez is the better athlete in this one. He's better all-around athlete in this one.
He's going to win this fight.
Fighter. Yeah.
He's going to win this fight. All right, this is a fun fight here. Brad Pickett and Eddie Wineland.
I like Wineland this one.
You do? I like Pickett.
And I knew you and I would disagree on this one. I just think that Wineland's got the better heart in this one. I think as far as the matchup goes, these guys are a little bit tougher.
It's funny because I like Pickett's heart. That's what I love about this fight.
Yeah.
You got 2 little dudes. They're going to stand in the middle of a freaking octagon and throw.
Yeah, and it's going to be a fan-pleasing, entertaining. Everyone's going to love this fight, but I'm definitely going Wineland this one.
You're definitely going Wineland, huh?
Yeah.
He's a tough guy, Wineland. Real tough. I'm looking some good fights
here.
It's
an interesting fight, yeah.
There's some good fights. Fight. It's one of these blue-collar cards, blue-collar main card as well, and we'll continue to break it down. We'll take a look at the main card when we return. It looks like we're not going to be able to touch base with Joey Odessa in Costa Rica. Joey's in Costa Rica, and he refers to it as a fourth world country, even though he's lived there for about 10 years now. But Joey's phone actually is. He's old school. Like, his cell phone's not working, from there to here. It's old school. So his phone is tied into his power, and he always loses his power. Especially, it's been happening a lot as of late. But it's all good. We're going to hit every fight, and Joey will join me on a podcast. MMA Meltdown on the Fight Network and online continues.